Did everybody look at that? Right.
Well, they don't want to because they put stuff in there.
Good evening, everybody. I'll call this regular meeting to order for October the 21st, 2025. Be it resolved, this agenda for the October 21st, 2025 regular meeting of council be adopted. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. All in favor? It's carried. We have a new councillor sitting at the table tonight, Councillor McKenzie. Welcome you to council. Councillor Powell is not feeling well, so she will not be here tonight. CFO Gnida is attending by video. Be it resolved that the minutes of the October the 7th, 2025 regular council meeting be approved. Moved by Councillor Bobick, seconded by Councillor Whyte. Discussion. I read the minutes. All in favor? It's carried. Moving down to 6.1. Be it resolved that the email dated October the 9th, 2025 from Adrian Vestland regarding the Manitoba Water Services Board budget history be received. Moved by Councillor Bobick, seconded by Councillor McKenzie. Any discussion? Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
Seeing their history of their annual budgets for what they have for that board, it was highly appropriate for us to support their request for increasing their budget to the Water Stewardship Board for increasing their budget from the $24 million to $100 million request so that we can do more projects in the province.
All in favor? It's carried. 6.2. Be it resolved the letter dated October the 14th, 2025 from Dennis Volkov regarding municipal snow removal be received. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Discussion. All in favor? It's carried. I just want to comment here that that resolution, they did remove it because of, we obviously know that there's another one that's very similar to it, but it doesn't mean that the AMM is going to stop lobbying for these increases. 6.3, be it resolved that the resignation email of Corinna Medwid from the Town of Swan River Council be received and accepted. Moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. We thank Corinna for her few years of service to the Town of Swan River, and we wish her well. 7.1. Be it resolved that the Chief Administrative Officer's report be received. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Discussion. Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
CEO Tewnion, with airport management, with the I guess the fuel card lock there and the conversation, where are we at with that conversation with that supplier or individual?
I've been dealing directly with Councillor Bobick, the chair of the Airport Commission. I know he's been trying to contact him. I sent him a letter, and right now we have our executive assistant trying to coordinate an on-site visit. So I don't really have a solid answer for you. Unfortunately, he's being less cooperative than we anticipated when the deal was made originally.
Okay. So follow up, do we know, have we, or as the Airport Commission, expended any dollars towards him already, or are we gone so far down the path we need to finish that with this supplier, or do we cut ties and go a different direction?
That's
Councillor Bobick,
probably the
you want
question
us?
that needs to be answered, yes. I'm under the understanding, and I don't know what price of the equipment is, what's out there, what's been done really, but I'm under the understanding what we have paid for is pretty much level for what we've got there. Far from completed, but I don't have all the details. So, again, been in contact probably 3-4 times, but lately, the last month, no contact at all. So I do believe an airport commission should be called and look into it. I've been speaking, and so far I've talked to Quap, I want to talk to SO here, where their supply, where they get their pumps fixed and stuff like that. My biggest concern is if this company can't get it installed and we need repairs, what will happen then? So I think we need to go something that is shared locally. That's my personal.
Your thoughts are exactly where I'm heading, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll stay
I
tuned.
think we'll give it a little bit more time. I'll try to get hold of them again this week. And if we don't get an answer, then I think we need to call an airport commission meeting.
Sounds good.
Make a decision.
Any further discussion on the CAO's report? All in favor? It's carried. 7.2. Be it resolved, the Director of Public Works report be received. Moved by Councillor Bobick, seconded by Councillor Whyte. Discussion? Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
Director Harvey, I see you're in contact with a contractor to do some hardscaping here to complete the project here in the front office. Can you provide details at the later meeting or CAL meeting as to what's envisioned and what the scope of your plans are there?
Yeah, so that was something Councillor Bobick mentioned, was to get a budgetary cost. So there was a local hardscaper, so I asked him to come just to give us a cost for hardscaping that front. And then that would go into the budget, and it'd be up to council whether to do that or to keep it as gravel, but Councillor Bobick suggested getting a price so that council has a price for a decision, kind of, okay, do we go ahead or do we not? So it's very preliminary at this point. I just reached out to him and asked him to come and take a look at it, kind of thinking like a gray background stone with the Swan in black, not tiered, just one level at that slope. But I'm just waiting for him to come by to take a look at it and to give a budgetary cost.
Okay, were you guys reading my notes from this afternoon? Because exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it was Councillor Bobick's suggestion on that.
And again, it's a suggestion. If there's any better ideas, we'll go for it.
Any further discussion? Councillor Whyte.
Somewhere within there, I was looking for it again, it was alluded to the enhancing, cleaning up the demolition lot. I don't know what that is.
So on 3rd Avenue South, there was a house demolition there, and it had been landscaped, but it's settled a little bit. So for the neighbor, there's grass, but then it's settled, there's some rocks, and then the fill. So we were just bringing some fill and tying it in to the existing ground, so that for mowing it's not going to rocks, and then we've taken over that property in tax sale. So covering up so that our guys go to do it next summer, they're not banging rocks with the mower.
Is the goal to make it a demolition lot into the future where we demolish things?
No, sorry, so the house has been demolished,
Yeah.
and it's a open lot at this point.
That's fine, I thought about that. Thank you.
Councillor
I just
McKenzie.
have a question for Darren. This afternoon I followed the street sweeper down the street. I was wondering about the timing of it. Has it got to look like there's still leaves on the trees? Is that an issue at all?
Yeah, we just try and keep up, like there's just some leaves that will come after, but it takes a long time to do the town, so if we wait for all the leaves to fall, we probably won't be able to get it done before the snow comes.
Thank you.
And with the last rain, not this weekend, but last weekend, we had to have someone out to clean. There was actually quite a few feet of water in a few spots, just because all the catch basins were getting plugged.
And Councillor McKenzie, just a reminder that you will address the directors as director and councillors as council or mayor. All right?
Okay.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
These are penalty box.
There's no penalty box. Further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 7.3, be it resolved, the Director of Recreation report be received. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Discussion? Councillor Whyte.
Just a very thorough report. I enjoyed reading all of it. And I note that you've been searching out community support for different items within the community. I don't really think that's vital, simply from the perspective of a community that has partial ownership in that entity and that hypothetically would look after, so I want to compliment you for that. Then I also noted that you have 100 students registered to use the pool, 25 different students, I'm guessing, registered for swimming lessons. That makes me feel real good, because 125 kids are getting in the pool at the moment, and obviously many before. But I wondered, with the 25 registered for swimming lessons, could sponsorship encourage more to take swimming lessons? Is there an economic barrier to those children, regardless of age, who may want to take lessons and don't have money? Is there a grant available? Do you let the people know, hey, if you don't have money, we'll look for money for you?
Sorry, I may have worded it incorrectly, but there's actually 100 enrolled in the public lessons,
Yeah.
and then 25 in private.
Yeah,
So is that,
yeah, I got that.
that makes
completely.
sense? Okay. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that. If there's been financial barriers at play, that was.
I would
Not
ask you
something
to
that
think about that
was brought up
concept.
to us.
If we're missing some kids that can't afford to take a swimming lesson,
Yeah.
and there's funds out there are funds out there that maybe ask around, how many people can't take lessons because of swimming? It'd be a shame.
Perhaps.
Thank you, that's it.
Any other discussion? Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
Director Gordon-Broome, the hot tub, remind me when the contractor's coming. Is it next week or the week after?
They should be coming anytime now. We have asked Keegan to follow up to see when, get a hard date on that.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? It's carried. 7.4. Be it resolved that the log dated October the 8th, 2024 to October the 10th, 2025 from Glen to Short, Prairie Mountain Health regarding needle cleanup be received. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Councillor Bobick. Discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 7.5. Be it resolved that the report dated October the 16th, 2025 from the Chief Administrative Officer regarding changes to the procedures bylaw be received. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor McKenzie. Discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 7.6. Be it resolved the presentation from Karen Vera regarding safety officer programs be received. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Bobick. Discussion? Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
I've been going through that presentation and stuff like that, but it's definitely something that I think that council needs to look at and analyze a little bit more in the future to enhance policing in our community, but at a much cheaper cost than an actual RCMP member. So from what I've read so far on it, it looks like it's a very good informative presentation, but we need a more elaborate conversation at a COW meeting to dive into it a lot more in details.
Further discussion? Councillor Whyte and Councillor Bobick.
I agree completely with Deputy Mayor. I think it's 110,000 for once they're established and all the needs are brought in, but next year the expense cuts in half, significantly less than an RCMP officer. One thing that jumped out at me that we've talked about, one of the roles of the CSOs, they could take detained people who are detained in the jail, be they criminals or healthcare or mental illness, they could deliver them, which would leave us, our RCMP officers, to do other crime looking after locally. So that jumped out at me.
Councillor Rowley?
Just, hopefully we stay on this, keep an eye on it. Just, is there some way we can get some information from towns or cities that have been using this and see what their intake is?
You want to answer that? Okay, go ahead.
There was in the works a couple months ago for the town to actually do a field trip to the city of Thompson to look at their CSO program. Portage la Prairie has just implemented a CSO program, so that's another larger urban center that's in our travels or travel pass that we can visit personally and get more information. Both Mayor Smook and Knox are on the PIMJAC committee with myself, so they're more than happy to share information how they set theirs up and the pitfalls to watch out for and the benefits and stuff like that. But I know there was, a couple months ago, there was plans in the works to do a council road trip up to Thompson to actually hands-on see their CSO program in action. So
I think that would be very important to take part in.
Okay. I know that I spoke with Mayor Knox, and then she said that program is working very well. Any other discussion on 7.6? All in favor? It's carried. 7.8, council reports. Councillor Whyte.
Busy as usual. October 8th, we had the Urban Forest Committee meeting. One of the things we're looking at is looking at the Legion Park and doing some planting, and trying to identify disease trees and dealing with those disease trees. So that's certainly on our list, and some of the committee have been cruising around the town trying to identify those trees. So I compliment that team for the work they do. October 8th, I went to the Fire Hall open house, and what a group of bright, young, committed men and women, and very revealing. I've just learned so much. A really good team, and I appreciate the work that they're doing for us. Then October 9th, we had the staff sergeant, and he talked about COPP and communication, and that too is a breath of fresh air. We're constantly getting updates of what's happening in the criminal world, what they did, where they did, and they're communicating that with us regularly. I appreciate it so much. October 16 in the morning, we had our medical service committee meeting, obviously looking to recruit medical professionals of all stripes. And the hot topic lately is return of service. How do we encourage people to come here, and what is the most efficient? Because some of the things we tried don't appear to be working as well, so it's a state in flux. And we also noted at the meeting that there are 10 empty beds in the personal care home and 5 empty beds in the hospital. That's simply because they don't have enough staff. So that concerns us also. We're trying to find solutions to that. And then on the 16th in the afternoon, we had a meeting with Prairie Mountain Health CAO Trina Slate, and the staffing needs became abundantly clear. That's a big deal for us, so we shared some of our thoughts again. I appreciate CAO Slate and her staff meeting with us regularly. We're meeting quarterly at the moment to try to update us. We tried to talk about needles, but we were told that that's another discussion coming in the very near future. Then on the 20th of this month, we met with an internist. I'd like to thank Deputy Mayor Moriaux and MLA Wojcik for bringing that doctor in on Zoom. And as that presentation evolved, it became apparent he could be a conduit to bringing doctors from the UK. So that's still a little up in the air. We said get back to us with some names, some numbers, and we'll do a check on them. And I really want to compliment Deputy Mayor Moriaux, because he did some research in the background of some of these doctors, and it was quite revealing, so we were concerned about some of the data we had. On the 20th, that was yesterday, I went to the Louisiana Pacific SAC meeting, and with the uncertainty in the tariffs, their sales are down. Some mills are closing. Some of the pulp and paper, I think he says 2 or 3 left in Canada. That's a big issue. They have lots of wood, And they're going to cut back the working hours, the working days, the working times. They don't want to let anybody go, so they just slow down production till hopefully this goes away. Then I arrived late for the G4 meeting, and as always, I got the back 2/3. I heard the tail end of the RCMP meeting, and I'm assuming somebody else will talk about the GIS, because I can't, because it wasn't there. And then we spent, again, a lot of time dealing with all members of the G4, all the municipalities, but return of service, trying to design a way that will get us more people to come, get people to commit before they're here. And hypothetically, that would be also. And they talked about some other issues like peer, the bridge builders, etc. So all good meetings, all worthwhile. I appreciate being there. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bobick.
I attended the COW meeting a week ago, also was at the G4, Council Whyte more or less wrapped it up there, what went on, so it was actually some very informative stuff. I was a little disappointed with the time frame of the GIS, but hopefully it speeds up. We need to have a transportation meeting, I'll try to set that up when we get there. Are we grouped here now that we have a new councillor, so we can set up, we'd like to see what something happen for fall here. And I will be bringing a year-end report on the watershed politics council. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Councillor McKenzie.
Your worship, at this time, I really have nothing to report,
Okay.
other than attending the how many? 4.
Right, G4, G8.
Okay.
All right. How'd you find that?
Interesting, yeah.
Good. Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
Basically, the meetings that I attended this period, I was on the 14th, the committee of the whole meeting, as we talked about. On the 16th, the Medical Services Committee with the committee and PMH. And last night, our G4, G8 meeting, where we had presentations, as Councillor Whyte had mentioned, from Peer Solutions, Superintendent Lee Fortin, with our GIS update and some other tidbits that he brought through. But he expressed his frustrations also with the time frame for the GIS implementation. But he explained what has happened to date, and the members or the posting to fill the GIS. The members from the RSMP that were interested in filling that were actually from our own detachment. So with the staffing levels in that detachment at the levels that they are now, they can't rob Peter to pay Paul, and vice versa, to get the GIS stood up just to send them back to regular patrols. So they do have a number of cadets inbound in November. They have one that's here, and then 3 more in November coming, which will ease some of the pressures. And once their basic cadet training is done in 2 months, then they're more or less on their own with just supervision. And then early spring is when they hope that they can start transitioning constables into those GIS position, because they'll have enough members and strength in the general detachment to maintain the regular operations there. And then basically what he's explaining with the corporal position, they're basically, their hands are tied, that they have to follow labor laws of the land, that you can't discriminate against certain types of people or people that are on maternity leave or whatnot, and all different reasons. So they picked the best candidate that was available who applied. Just unfortunately, that individual can't step right into that role at this exact time frame. But in their view, she is the best candidate for it. So, and they have good candidates that they intend to move from the general detachment to the GIS, but they just need to strengthen the detachment numbers first before they transition those people across. So they're hoping for early spring, somewhere around there. Hopefully, fingers crossed, even sooner if things go through. So, and then we just had the regular our discussions with the G4 and the school division that was there, with RISE, community secretary, things like that. So some of that discussions that were there have to come back to councils for in-house discussions, and then report back to the group as a whole on which directions each council wants to go. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Question?
Go ahead.
I'm sure I missed. they're not, I'm not assuming that the cadets, the three they may be bringing in, would be looking at putting them into
No.
the GF. Good, thank you.
All right, thank you. For myself, the last couple of weeks have been pretty busy. I missed the last council meeting because I was attending an my AMM meeting, board meeting in Winnipeg. It was a time for us to actually meet with the deputy ministers and the government on issues that the AMM has been lobbying for, which was, again, something that we continue to do. Municipal funding, physical infrastructure, social infrastructure, and public safety. We were supposed to kind of focus our time when we got to sit with a deputy minister, but once in a while we get a chance to ask other questions, and I actually had the opportunity to sit with the deputy minister for homelessness and housing and addictions. So we covered quite a bit of things that were pretty fresh in my mind from the public meeting that we had the night before. So she has already called me back already last week and had some more discussion on the results of what we came out of that October the 1st public meeting and what the public wants, and we'll see. It's just going to involve more meetings to discuss these things and what the plan is moving forward. And we all know what the community was looking for. They talked about people first and our municipalities using people first, and I believe that our municipality does use people first, so that's good, but there's not enough municipalities probably using that as a resource for themselves. Our parkland visits will be roughly between February the 4th and the 6th, with the AMM coming up. Of course, we were this year, so they will not be visiting us. The province also talked about a new economic development strategy, so this is going to be interesting because we're talking about economic development last night, and so the province is rejigging or looking at changing what this economic development strategy will look like. A whole bunch of other stuff too going on, and of course the AMM fall convention coming up here shortly. I communicated with the Premier since last Friday on the littering of needles, especially at the dance studio. I believe that their office is supposed to be contacting Ms. Podolsky about that and coming up with some kind of solutions, but we did stir them up a little bit there, and they have been calling me and trying to come up with something. And I told them that basically the community is asking for no needle distribution at all. And I know that Harm Reduction today announced that they are not going to be doing any distribution at all. So, but I understand that public health is still going to be doing some distribution. I actually had a chance to speak with the Deputy Minister of MTI. We all had this discussion about the east entrance of town, where the ditches are overgrown with trees and it doesn't look very inviting at all. So Deputy Minister Klaus and I had some long discussion about that. I'm hoping that they will find some resolve to cleaning up those ditches for us, because I mentioned to him, I said our north entrance looks wonderful, but the east entrance looks terrible. So anyway, that's kind of still going to be kind of ongoing. I also asked them if they could do something with the gravel patch in front of OK Tire that has been, the asphalt's been knocked out of there completely, and the road, people are making the road wider by driving around all the potholes. So we'll be waiting to hear what the Deputy Minister thinks about what they should do there. On the needles and the distribution and everything else and littering, I spoke with, I said the Premier, but I spoke with CEO Slate about that for Prairie Mountain Health. They are going to be coming to a future meeting. I believe it's set for November the 20th. And then they also told me that Harm Reduction and Public Health will be setting a meeting with us to discuss these issues. I'm hoping sometime in November, maybe a couple of weeks. I attended a lot of the meetings that you guys all attended too, but the G4 meeting, I think one thing, there are a couple of things that kind of stood up for me. When the RCMP talked about AI, we all seen the funny videos and all that kind of stuff that AI develops or what we see, but there's also a really bad side of AI, and the RCMP talked about that. I'm not going to get into it, but there's some really, really serious things that AI could do and potentially destroy people's lives by some people creating something fake by using AI. And we learned a little bit about that last night and the troubles they're having in the United States. The school division is hosting on November the 13th trade advisory session, and that is to find the voids in the business community, or if it's people, in certain trades, or maybe not even trades, but people that are needed in the community for work. So they're going to host that on November the 13th, so I believe that we'll get an invite for that as well. And that's it for me. So we'll move on to new business and 8.1. Whereas medical radiation technologists are an essential link between patients and sophisticated medical imagery and radiotherapy technologies in Manitoba healthcare system. And whereas the town of Swan River recognizes the vital contributions of medical radiation technologists to safe and appropriate healthcare in this province. And whereas other healthcare providers depend on specialized skills and expertise of medical radiation technologists to ensure patients receive timely diagnosis and treatments. And whereas the Medical Radiation Technologists Week is an opportunity to recognize and acknowledge the expertise and dedication of medical radiation technologists, as well as to encourage others to enter this vital profession. Be it resolved that November the 2nd to the 8th, 2025 be declared as Medical Radiation Technologists Week in the town of Swan River. Moved by Councillor Bobick, seconded by Councillor Whyte. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 8.2. Be it resolved that the 2025 standing committees and other appointments be approved as per attached listing. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Bobick. Any discussion? Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
I don't know if this is premature or not with, in light of the recent resignation of Councillor Medwid, but I am willing to proceed with the appointments of putting in Councillor McKenzie in the slots that we had discussed previously, and then we can bring this back another date to make further amendments to where Councillor Medwid's appointments are now open. So, but we have Councillor McKenzie that's willing to step into where previously Councillor Boychuk was. Some of those committees are on hold until we have our full slate of memberships there, so I'm willing to proceed with that, and then with the understanding that we'll be bringing this back in potential short order for further amendments.
Any further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 8.3. Be it resolved, the snow removal agreement with Manitoba Transportation Infrastructure for 2025-26 be received and approved for the CAO to sign on behalf of the town of Swan River. Moved by Councillor Bobick, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Any discussion? Councillor Bobick.
Just like I mentioned before, when we end up keeping track of the bills or our hours and stuff, keep track, there should be a 10% administration fee tacked on there also, because there's work done in this office too, so it's something to think about.
Any further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 8.4. Whereas the Swan Valley School Division has demonstrated leadership and accessibility and inclusion by providing a pool-specific communication board for installation of the Swan Valley Credit Union Aquatic Center. Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Swan River supports the Mayor in providing a formal letter of appreciation to the Swan Valley School Division, recognizing their contribution to the community and expressing gratitude for their partnership. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Any discussion? Councillor Whyte?
Yeah, I don't think we can do enough of this thing, and I sense the involvement of the rec commission, having that letter, giving the data to somebody to do the letter. Thank you is a really simple thing, and it's appreciated by so many, so I encourage all of us, when we get help from the community, that we recognize that publicly. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 8.5, whereas the councillor has resigned and subsections 105(1) of the Municipal Act requires the town of Swan River Council to hold a by-election as soon as reasonable as possible. Therefore, be it resolved, the town of Swan River Council requests the senior election office official to hold a by-election within the town of Swan River for the seat of councillor. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Councillor McKenzie. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 8.6. Whereas the town of Swan River recognizes the importance of honoring veterans through the annual placement of a Remembrance Day wreath in our council chambers. Be it resolved, the council authorized payment of $125 for the invoice from the Royal Canadian Legion branch number 39 and affirm the continuation of the Remembrance Day wreath tradition. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Discussion. Councillor Whyte.
The Royal Canadian Legion, and those before the people that are here now, are the reason that we are here. That we live in a free, democratic country because of the people in the Legion, and recognizing them by a wreath is a very small token of our appreciation. I don't know where we would be without them, and I thank them so much for what they've done.
Okay. Any other further discussion on the resolution? All in favor? It's carried. Moving down to 10.1. Be it resolved that the 2025 annual contribution to the Swan Valley Health Facilities Foundation Incorporated Fund for the recruitment and retention of medical professionals calculated at $16 per capita and amounting to $64,784 be approved for payment. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Any discussion? Councillor Bobick.
Do we get like some kind of formal audit of this fund, or
What's that?
do we ever get a sort of formal audit of this fund?
Yeah.
We do?
Yeah. The funds actually sit in with the Swan Valley Health Facilities Foundation.
Okay.
They're the caretakers of the fund, so that is all part of the audit that's done by our auditor. Any information that council wants to know what the balances or anything like that of that fund, they can always ask me.
And the medical recruitment team makes a decision on where the funds go.
Yes, so the medical recruitment team will make recommendations to, or ask, I guess, by resolution to the board, Swan Valley Health Facilities Foundation's board, to produce a check or payment to whoever of them, and then that's how it's all processed.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Whyte.
And following up to a wonderful question there, Councillor, if it's a large amount of money, we won't make that decision, obviously. We will take it back to the G4, which happened last night.
Okay, so Councillor Whyte to the resolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna ask a question again. So, excuse me, if the medical recruitment team makes a decision on spending money and use a hospital, for example, doesn't think it's a good idea, or do they make you aware of that?
Make who aware of it?
The medical recruitment team. So if you come up with an idea to spend this money somewhere in the hospital that say, we don't need that, or we don't think that's it.
The Swan Valley Health Facilities Foundation has its own funds for buying equipment for the hospital
Yeah.
that's requested. The medical recruitment team is completely separate of that. They're strictly only looking to support if it's doctors and nurses or students that are coming to the community, not buying equipment or buying anything within the hospital. If it was anything different, such as the CT scanner, then that would go to the G4 and ask, say, hey, can we spend some of this money to pay for this equipment?
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm getting at it, okay, so let's say, for instance, in the near future, we have too many doctors, and you say, let's bring another doctor in, and they say, no, we don't need doctors, we need nurses, so is that something, who has a final say in this?
I think we're kind of going down a rabbit hole here because we're getting away from the actual purpose of the resolution, but I'll let the Moriaux go, and then I think we've got to get back to the resolution.
That's correct, Your Worship. Just to answer Councillor Bobick's question, the medical services professional recruitment and retention team is made with representatives from each council. So it's no different than representatives to the airport commission or the vet clinic or the library board. Those decisions are held in that committee. It's just with this anomaly, with the medical services recruitment committee, the funds that are in this funds is held in trust and distributed by the Health Facilities Foundation based on resolutions from the Medical Services Committee. So,
Okay.
Any further discussion on the resolution? All in favor? It's carried. Councillor Bobick, if there's more question you have, then I would encourage you to sit and ask the committee any questions on the medical recruitment team. 10.2. Be it resolved that the following accounts be received. Payroll accounts checks number P5593 to P5594 and direct deposit payments totaling $168,414.99 is listed on Schedule A. Direct deposit payments totaling $9,560.08 is listed on Schedule B. Moved by Councillor Bobick, seconded by Councillor McKenzie. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 10.3. Be it resolved that the following accounts be approved for payment. General accounts checks number 33303 to
Download. Meeting agenda. Font size.
Sorry, I apologize again.
no problem. General accounts checks number 33303 to number 33346 totaling $248,965.24 is listed on Schedule A. Direct deposit payments totaling $64,338.75 is listed on Schedule B. Direct deposit payments totaling $810 as listed on Schedule C. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Whyte. Discussion? All in favor? 11.1. Be it resolved that the bylaw number 18, 2025, being a bylaw of the town of Swan River to establish a development incentive program, be read a third time and be approved. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Discussion? Councillor Bobick?
I just think with this program here being really important to the town of Swan River one way or another, what you look at it, but I think we should, I'd like to see this tabled to Council Powell could be at the table, so it's all the council votes on.
You're
Asking to table.
asking to table it?
Yeah.
Do I need a seconder, CEO? I can't remember. Okay, so do I have a seconder to table third reading of the development incentive bylaw to the next council meeting? A seconder. Deputy Mayor Moriaux is seconding it. So then we will have that at our next meeting. The only question is what happens when you don't have anybody?
You need to.
Oh, sorry, right.
We need a majority vote
Yeah.
after that.
Okay, so all in favor of that? It's carried. So we'll have that at our next meeting on November the 4th, right? Okay. (11.2) Be it resolved, the bylaw number 15, 2025, be amended in accordance with the revisions outlined in the attached red line document. Be it further resolved that bylaw number 15, 2025, being a bylaw of the town of Swan River to regulate development activities and clearing of vegetation on public reserves along the shoreline, river shorelines, be read a third time and be approved. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Councillor Bobick. Any discussion? Okay, this is a recorded vote. All in favor? It's carried.
So it's carried unanimously?
Yes, it was. .3. Be it resolved that bylaw number 4, 2025, being a bylaw of the town of Swan River to regulate the proceedings and conduct of council and committees, be read at first time. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Bobick. Discussion? All in favor? It's carried. No notice of motion. 13, members' privilege. Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
I guess not a whole lot from me. Just, as you had mentioned in your report, that Manitoba Harm Reduction Network has announced as of late this afternoon that they're no longer distributing harm reduction materials at their office and directing them to public health. So, but that will not distract me from bringing forth at our next meeting my proposed bylaw in regards to banning distribution materials in its entirety within the town. So I'll get that draft out to council for review as soon as possible. But I think that our crime prevention meeting, the public spoke with some force, and I got that message loud and clear. Not that that wasn't acknowledged long before that by this council, but basically it's dotting the i's and crossing the t's right now to make sure that that portion of the harm reduction, not saying that there's a lot of other good portions of harm reduction that's out there with treatments and whatnot, but that one avenue of harm reduction is not to be, will be accepted in the town. So whether that goes against provincial, I can't see anything provincially. It's a provincial program, not a provincial law or regulation. So I don't see anything that prevents us from doing that, but I'm willing to take on that challenge and see where it goes with the province if we get pushed back.
Okay, thank you. Councillor McKenzie.
Your worship, to Director Danielle, or Gordon-Broome, I'd like to meet with her soon to sort of get an update on what's going on, so I've got an idea what's happening in Parks and Recreation.
The pool lawsuit is still there.
Okay, perfect.
And the hot tub still leaks. Nothing changes.
Councillor Bobick.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, the announcement for harm reduction, I think, a good thing in the long run, but I think there's a lot to be covered yet, so keep working. I'd like to thank council for doing the resolution to put vote on hold. I think it's important that all councils here, so thank you for that. Also, I attended multiculturalism hockey game there. It was really neat. There was lots of stuff there. I met with a lot of different people, and each one of them would give you their ethnic background, how they got here, so it was really interesting. So, well done. That's it.
Good. Councillor Whyte.
Just a few quick points. In our meeting with PMH, Trina Slate, the CEO at the time, told us at the time that our CT scan staff right now is as good or better than Brandon. If there's 2 trained CT and 2 trained X-ray who could run CT in the absence of the CT people, so that was pretty positive. I'm willing to take some of a lead role in trying to reorganize the COPP again. So I'm going to be looking for volunteers to help out in that process, and we'll be contacted how. So if you're interested in COPP, feel free to call me. Everything's on the Facebook there, on the town website. I've thrown a seed out. I'm not sure whether it's going to be appropriate or not, but I've asked CEO Tewnion to look at the possibility of bringing a vacuum device, whatever that means, to vacuum out the sludge from our holding ponds And where does that go? You do it in some communities, which might be far less expensive, might be, than building a new reservoir and new sewage lagoon system. So that's in the works. So many compliments about the Legion entry point. And the new cement is down there, and the flag is there at the entry point into Legion there. It's really, really popular by the people using that Legion. So our team was involved somehow, I'm assuming. So thank you, whoever did that. Being a team guy, I think is really important. We missed a few years on our staff Christmas party, and that brings the teams together. I just think of the RCMP, our department, EMTs, the Urban Forest Committee. You could charge $5 a head or something, but we spend a lot of money on a lot of things, and I think keeping the team happy, getting to know one another, to meet other people in the different departments, working collaboratively for the community as a whole. So I'm throwing the idea out to consider the staff Christmas party. I'm sure it's 2 years now since we've had one, so we saved a lot of money there. I want to thank the school division for attending the G4. I think that's important to have them there. I'm not sure, I'm going to assume that First Nations communities were invited. Having said that, I'm saddened a little that our neighbors to the north have chosen not to send representation, because it's important for all of us to work collaboratively. So that's it. Thank you, sir.
I will say that our First Nations partners, as well as the Métis Federation, were invited and not responded. Director Harvey.
So Spooktoberfest was this past weekend. So just wanted to say thank you to all the organizers in 4 different areas, and I was volunteering at the White House, but you could see tons of kids laughing and having fun Friday night, Saturday night. The weather stayed good for us. The rain happened during the day while it was on, so that was nice. And there was just under 200, I think, Friday night, and just over 200 that went through the White House on Saturday night. And then there was the Goulash building at Mays, and then the kids area in the big building. So that was a very good community event.
Good. Lots of fun. Scaring kids. Director Gordon-Broome.
I have got a meeting with our local cricket players about the pitch that they sent us a letter about this coming Friday, so I'm excited to see what they have to say. It's kind of a unique thing here coming into the community. As Councillor Bobick noted, Multicultural Night was quite successful, and I was very happy to see a couple of our councillors attend and have a good time, obviously. It was a really great night, and lots of comments after from the newcomers to our community and some of those groups about how much fun they had and how much they enjoyed it, so hope to see a few of them back. And as you like the official Stampeders report, Mayor Jacobson, we're on a 3-game win streak, but it looks like we're down 3-0 right now. Still in the first period, so it's not such a great game tonight.
Always bounce back. They did it, in grade
We
game
got
1.
2 this weekend, Friday and Saturday, so
Yeah. Good stuff.
come on out, watch some hockey.
Thank you. CAO Tewnion.
All business, Your Worship. Yesterday, about a half hour prior to 4:30, we ended up getting 9 applications for the Board of Revision, so my report didn't reflect that, because that just happened after the report was published. So they're all related to Northwest Métis Council. The applications have all been forwarded, and to Manitoba Assessment. Hopefully they'll get resolved on those. There's 9. The other question I had, and I think I can say this during privilege because it's pretty open, the only in-camera was my thing. I don't need to talk about it without Councillor Powell here, so unless you want me to go and table it, or we just don't have to go in camera and reschedule it
I
for
think
next
maybe
time.
we should still do it.
Think so?
Yeah, and we could do hers separate.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that everything?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. All right, for myself, I guess I forgot to mention it earlier, but, you know, they talk about this revolving door of crime and bail reform. And we heard from the Justice Department when I was in Winnipeg that the federal government is about to table something in the House in November. So who knows what that looks like, but they're talking about doing something. They're not calling it bail reform. I guess they don't, that's a dirty word in the government right now, because I think it's coming from the opposition and everybody's saying bail reform. So I don't know what they're going to be calling it. I'm really happy to hear about the Oktoberfest. Like that was a great thing in the community, and something that I know that our CEO Poole used to entertain, and I don't know if he was there again this year, chasing kids with a chainsaw or whatever, but I know that he had a blast doing it. So anyway, something to say about going around space, scaring little children and scarring them, I guess. But anyways, it's all fun. Other than that, you know what? Blue Jays won last night in awesome fashion, I guess, and now they're up against the Dodgers, and I know that that's going to be a tough series to play against a great team like the Los Angeles Dodgers, but hopefully they can do their best and make a dent, and perhaps they even have a chance to win the World Series. So that's it for me. Oh, sorry, you're right. CFO Gnida, did you have anything for your privilege?
No, I have nothing, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to 14. Be it resolved that pursuant to sections 152(3) of the Municipal Act, Council go into committee and close the meeting to the public. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Councillor McKenzie. All in favor? It's carried. We're in camera. And be it resolved that pursuant to sections 152(4) of the Municipal Act, this meeting be really open to the public. Moved by Councillor Bobick, seconded by Mayor Moriaux. All in favor? It's carried. 17, be it resolved that this regular meeting of council now be adjourned at 8:26 p.m. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. All in favor? It's carried. We're adjourned.